It's February 2026. I want you to do something for me. Just look at your hands,
Okay.
turn them over, look at your palms, wiggle your fingers. Now, I want you to imagine they're empty.
Mm-hmm.
No smartphone. No rectangular slab of glass and aluminum you have to pull out of your pocket every 30 seconds.
But the doom scrolling device.
The doom scrolling device is gone. But, and this is the kicker, you aren't disconnected.
No.
In fact, you're more connected than you have ever been in your life.
Yeah.
You're just strapped in.
That's a really compelling image, isn't it? The idea that the whole era of holding technology is, well, it's effectively over.
It feels like it's over.
We are absolutely entering the era of wearing the interface. It's no longer about a separate device you carry around, like a digital heavy stone.
Right.
It's about a seamless loop between your biological signals, your voice, your eye movements, even the electrical impulses in your wrist, and the digital response.
Welcome to Tomorrow Unveiled. I'm your host, and today we are packing the show with what might be the most significant shift in consumer tech since, I don't know, the iPhone dropped back in 2007.
It's that big a deal.
It really is.
Mm-hmm.
We are talking about this concept of being strapped in, and I have to say, looking at the research for this week, I'm torn. I'm torn between feeling like I'm about to get superpowers and feeling like I'm about to lose the last shred of my privacy.
And that is absolutely the correct emotional response.
I love it. I'm good.
We are not using the term strapped in lightly. This isn't just about, putting on a Fitbit and counting your steps anymore.
Yeah.
The research we have in front of us, it all covers this first week of February 2026, and it paints a picture of a massive convergence, a huge one. We are seeing a transition from peripheral accessories to fully integrated human-computer systems.
That's accountable. It's not just an accessory anymore. It's a layer. It's a layer we exist within.
That's the perfect way to put it.
Yeah. So to guide us through this brave new world, we've organized today's deep dive for tomorrow, unveiled into three main pillars. First, we're looking at the visual revolution. Smart glasses have finally, and I mean finally, after years of these dorky prototypes, they've finally gone mainstream. They are replacing the smartphone as the primary interface for a huge chunk of the population.
And that's happening right now. Then secondly, we have the Neuralink. And this is the stuff that really, truly feels like science fiction.
Oh, absolutely.
We're talking about wristbands that let you control the digital world with subtle finger movements. No mouse, no keyboard, just intent.
Intent. And third, we have the soft touch. This is a massive breakthrough in soft robotics that mimics the human brain's ability to learn and adapt. It sounds complicated, I know, but trust me, when we get to the applications for healthcare, it is going to blow your mind.
And underlying all of this, all three pillars, is this concept of ambient computing.
Right.
The technology is literally disappearing into the background. It is becoming invisible, but omnipresent.
So, optimistic? Maybe. A little scary. Definitely. We are going to talk about the superpowers this tech gives your eyes and your hands. But we also have to get real about the privacy implications.
Oh, absolutely.
Because when everyone is wearing a camera, the rules of social etiquette, they change fast.
They certainly do.
Okay, let's unpack this. Segment one, the smart glasses surge. From niche to normal. I remember a few years ago, if you saw someone wearing smart glasses, maybe those early Google Glass Explorers, you'd kind of side-eye them.
You would.
It looked weird. It looked clunky. It just looked like they were wearing a computer on their face.
It looked like a sci-fi prop, and honestly not a very good one. It just created this immediate social barrier.
Exactly. But looking at the data our research team pulled for February 2026, the landscape is completely flipped.
Completely.
We are looking at a 110% year-over-year increase in global smart glasses shipments. And that's just in the first half of 2025.
That's not a gradual climb. That is a rocket ship.
It's a rocket ship.
110%. That kind of growth trajectory is what we saw in the very, very early days of the smartphone or the tablet. It signals a tipping point.
It has to be.
And you mentioned the side-eye factor. That's largely gone. Seeing people wear smart glasses in cafes, on the subway, in boardrooms, it is now as common as seeing someone with wireless earbuds was just a few years ago.
It's the normalization of the form factor. It just looks normal now.
It does.
And the volume is backing that up. Multiple industry reports are confirming a production target of 10 million units annually by the end of this year, 2026.
And that's mass market volume. That's not niche anymore.
Not at all. But why now? We've had glasses before, right? Steph spectacles, Google Glass, Magic Leap. Why is 2026 the year?
Well, it really comes down to what I'd call the Trojan horse strategy,
Yeah.
specifically the one executed by Meta.
Right.
The data shows they've captured something like 73% of the market share, at least in the early data we have. And they didn't do it by making the most advanced computer on Earth. They did it by making a good pair of sunglasses.
That Ray-Ban Meta collaboration really did seem to be the catalyst.
It was the catalyst. They took a beloved fashion staple, the Wayfarer style, and they just hid the technology inside it.
So they led with fashion, not tech.
Exactly. They didn't try to make it look like a computer, they made it look like cool glasses. And the sales reflect that. They've sold over 2 million units since the launch in late 2023.
And that was when it was basically just a camera.
Right. But the shift in 2026 is that the utility, the actual function, has finally caught up to the fashion.
Okay, because for a while they were just cameras, right? Oh, look, I can take a POV video of me cutting a bagel. Which is cool, I guess, but I have a phone for that.
Exactly.
But the killer app in 2026 has shifted. It's all about the heads-up display, the HUD.
Right. We are moving from capture to information. And to really understand why this works now, we have to talk about the engineering, specifically micro LEDs.
Okay, let's get into the weeds a bit here. My phone has an OLED screen. My TV is OLED.
Yeah.
Why can't we just stick tiny OLEDs in glasses? What makes micro LEDs so special?
It's all about the battle against the sun.
Right.
OLEDs are organic, that's the O. They're fantastic for contrast, but they really struggle to get incredibly bright without burning out or just eating your battery alive.
And when you're outside, the sun is just a monster.
A monster! The sun is blasting you with about 10,000 nits of brightness. If your glasses can only put out 1,000 nits, the image looks washed out. It's transparent in a bad way.
So you need something that can outshine the sun, but it has to run on a battery the size of a Tic Tac.
Precisely. Micro LEDs are inorganic. They can get incredibly bright. We're talking millions of nits at the source, and they are much, much more power efficient. But the real magic isn't even the LED itself, it's the waveguide.
The waveguide. I hear this term thrown around in tech circles all the time. Explain it like I'm 5.
Okay, imagine the lens of the glasses is like a sandwich of glass. You have a tiny projector, and it's hidden in the arm of the glasses, right by your temple. It shoots the image into the edge of the glass. The waveguide is a structure inside that glass that bounces that light internally, kind of like a fiber optic cable, until it reaches the center of your vision.
So it travels through the lens itself.
Exactly. And then it uses these microscopic structures to turn the light 90 degrees and shoot it directly into your eye.
So the glass itself is the transport mechanism.
That's it. And doing that efficiently without the glass looking like a thick Coke bottle lens, that was the engineering hurdle of the decade.
And they've finally cracked it.
In 2026, they have finally nailed the manufacturing yields to make it affordable and crucially thin.
But what about the heat?
Mm.
Because processors get hot. I don't want a burn mark on my temple.
That is the other half of the equation, you're right. We're seeing chips like the Qualcomm Snapdragon AR1 Gen 1. These are purpose-built for this.
So not just a shrunk-down phone chip.
No, not at all. They are designed specifically to distribute heat across the entire frame, using the metal hinges as heat sinks. They handle the image processing and the on-device AR without turning your face into a radiator.
Okay, so the hardware is finally ready. We have the display, we have the battery, we have the cool frames. Let's talk about what we actually do with them.
Yeah.
Because the report mentioned a feature that just kept popping up. The teleprompter.
This is a game changer for professionals. An absolute game changer.
Also,
Imagine you are giving a speech or a presentation to a client. Usually you're glancing down at notes or you're looking at a screen. You're breaking eye contact.
and you break the connection.
You break the connection. With the teleprompter feature, your notes are just floating in your vision. To the audience, you are just looking right at them, engaging, maintaining perfectly natural eye contact. But literally the script is right there in front of your retina.
Okay, but let's pause. Be honest with me here. If I'm reading a script on my glasses while talking to you, aren't my eyes doing that weird reading motion, a little scan from left to right? Can't you tell I'm not actually looking at you?
That is the main criticism, and you're right to be skeptical. In the early versions, yes, people looked shifty.
Shifty. Yeah.
They look like they were watching a tennis match inside their head. But the software has gotten much smarter. The text now uses things like Rapid Serial Visual Presentation, or RSVP.
What's that?
It flashes words in the center of your vision one at a time so your eyes don't have to move, or the whole text block will move with your head so you don't have to scan as wide.
Oh, okay.
But yes, if you were trying to read a novel while you're talking to your spouse, they are going to know.
Honey, are you listening to me? Yes, I am just reading page 40 of War and Peace.
Exactly. It requires a new kind of social discipline. But think about the translation aspect. That's where the eye contact trade-off is absolutely worth it. You're traveling, you look at a menu in a language you don't speak, and the glasses just overlay the translation right on top of it. Or you're speaking to someone, and the subtitles appear in the air next to their head.
It's the universal translator from Star Trek, but it's just Ray-Bans.
Precisely. And object identification, too. You look at a landmark, it tells you the history. You look at a product, it gives you the price comparison. It's contextual computing. It's adding a layer of data to reality.
It sounds incredibly convenient, but it also sounds like we're just going to be drowning in information. I mean, do I really need to know the Yelp rating of every single coffee shop I walk past?
No, and that's the big UI challenge. We call it cognitive clutter.
Cognitive clutter. I like that.
If the glasses show you everything, you go blind to it. It's just noise. The AI has to be the gatekeeper. It has to know that you are late for a meeting, so it should only show you navigation arrows, but it hides the Yelp ratings.
It has to be context aware.
Deeply context aware.
So the AI decides what I see. That's a lot of trust to put in an algorithm.
It is.
We'll get to the trust issues later. I want to talk about the competition. Because Meta is the big dog, but they are not the only dog in this fight.
No, the market is flooding. Samsung is making a massive play, linking it deeply to the Galaxy ecosystem.
Of course.
So if you have a Samsung phone and a Samsung watch, the glasses just fit right in. Then you have Xiaomi with the Magia smart audio glasses, which are really pushing the price down.
How low are we talking?
Around 180 euros in Europe. That's impulse buy territory for a lot of tech enthusiasts.
Wow, yeah. And Snap is still kicking around?
Snap is resilient. They have a dedicated subsidiary now, and they focus heavily on the fun AR. So filters, games.
The entertainment side.
Right. They aren't trying to replace your laptop. They're just trying to make reality more entertaining.
So, okay, we have the vision sorted. We can see the digital world overlaying the physical world. But this leads to a massive problem. How do we interact with it?
The input problem.
The input problem. If I see a play button floating in the air for my music, how do I press it? I don't have a mouse, and I really don't want to be that person standing on the train swatting at invisible flies.
That's the gorilla arm problem.
Gorilla arm. What's that?
It's actually an old term from the 80s when touch screens were vertical.
Ah.
If you hold your arm up to touch a screen, or in this case a hologram, for more than a minute, your arm gets heavy. The blood drains out, your shoulder aches. It's physically exhausting.
And it looks ridiculous.
It looks ridiculous. Plus, tapping your temple on the glasses frame to click something, it just looks socially awkward.
It looks like you have a migraine or you're trying to communicate with aliens.
Right. So we need an input method that is lazy. Humans are fundamentally lazy. We want to do the least amount of physical work possible. And this brings us to our second pillar, the neural link.
This is the part that feels like pure magic. We are seeing the end of the touchscreen.
Or at least the decoupling of the screen from the input.
So tell us about Wearable Devices LTD and the Mudra Band and what Meta is doing with their neural band. What is actually happening on the wrist? Is it reading my mind?
Not your mind, but your nerves. This relies on a technology called surface electromyography, or SEMG.
Okay, SEMG. Break that down for us.
Okay. So, when you decide to move your finger, any finger, your brain sends an electrical spike train down your spinal cord through your arm to the specific muscles in your forearm that control that finger.
Right.
And even before your finger physically moves, that electrical signal hits the muscle.
So the signal is there before the action.
Yes. The wristband has these tiny sensors on the inside that sit against your skin, and they are listening, just listening for those little electrical pops.
But isn't the wrist a really noisy place electrically? I mean, you have veins, skin shifting, all these other muscles moving. How does it know I want to click my index finger and not just, I don't know, scratch my ear?
That is the signal-to-noise problem. It's like trying to record a whisper in a football stadium. The noise of your general biology is loud, and this is where AI comes in again. For decades, we could detect big flexes like making a fist. But distinguishing a millimeter twitch of the pinky finger versus the ring finger. That required massive machine learning models to filter the noise and find the unique patterns.
So the AI cleans up the signal and finds the fingerprint for each
Very well.
finger.
Exactly. It detects the intent to move, and in some cases, you don't even have to physically move the finger all the way. You just have to tense the muscle slightly.
That is wild.
Yeah.
So I can essentially be motionless and still be typing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that leads directly to the feature everyone is talking about, air writing.
Air writing. Describe this for the listener.
Okay, imagine you are sitting in a cafe, your hands are just resting on the table. You want to send a text message on WhatsApp.
Right.
Instead of pulling out your phone, unlocking it, typing with your thumbs, you just tap your fingers on the table surface.
Yeah.
You are literally typing on the wood. The wristband reads the muscle movements of each finger, correlates it to a QWERTY keyboard layout, and generates the text.
But what about the error rate? I mean, I make typos on a real keyboard. If I'm just drumming my fingers on a table, isn't it going to come out as total gibberish?
It definitely requires calibration. When you first put the band on, there's a training phase.
Of course.
You play a little game, tapping fingers when lights flash, so the band learns your specific muscle physiology. But even then, yes, prediction algorithms like autocorrect on steroids are doing a lot of the heavy lifting.
So it's guessing the word.
It's guessing what word you meant based on the vague drum pattern you're making.
So it's a mix of muscle reading and very aggressive spell check.
That's a fair way to put it. But think about the discrete factor.
I can see the appeal. You're in a meeting. You can't pull out your phone. But you can send a quick, "I'm running late," or "This meeting is boring," just by twitching your fingers under the table.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And Meta is pushing this heavily with their vibe coding and touch-free gestures. It's all about decoupling digital input from physical keyboards.
Right.
You can control a presentation advancing slides with a tiny micro gesture while your hands are just at your sides. You look like a wizard.
Or a conductor.
A conductor of data.
And the Mudra technology isn't just for one device, right? Because if I have to buy a different wristband for my phone, my laptop, and my TV, I'm out.
No, and that's a big selling point. It's cross-platform.
Okay.
The technology can control Android, macOS, Windows. You could theoretically sit down at your desk, wave your hand to wake up your Mac, type an email on your desk surface, and then swipe in the air to dismiss a notification on your Android phone.
It becomes a universal controller for your entire digital life.
It does. It effectively turns your hand into the mouse and keyboard, but without the physical mouse and keyboard.
It turns your intent into the input.
That's the shift. From mechanical interaction pushing a physical button to neural interaction signaling an intent.
It's incredible. And it's here. This isn't a concept video. These are products hitting the market in early 2026.
They are.
But I have to ask, what happens when I just scratch my nose? Does my computer think I just deleted a file?
That's the wake word equivalent. Just like you have to say, "Hey Siri," there is usually a wake gesture.
A specific gesture.
Right, maybe a double pinch of the thumb and middle finger to engage the system. Otherwise, you'd be accidental clicking all day long.
A safety on the trigger. Good. I need that.
Absolutely.
You know, talking about all this, wearing the screen, wearing the mouse, it makes me realize how much we are merging with the machine. But there is one part of the equation we haven't touched yet. We've talked about the eyes and the hands. But what about when the robot touches us?
Ah, the soft robotics.
We're going to get to the squishy stuff in a minute. But first, we have a quick request for you. If you are watching this on YouTube, first of all, hello. We love seeing you there. If you're finding this insightful, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to Tomorrow Unveiled, and consider hitting that new hype button to help us reach more viewers. The hype button really does make a difference in the algorithm.
It does.
And of course, be sure to turn on notifications so you never miss an update on the future.
And for our audio listeners who are perhaps walking the dog or commuting, maybe wearing smart glasses right now and seeing the show notes float by, if you're listening on a podcast service like Apple Podcasts or Spotify, we'd be incredibly grateful if you could leave us a rating and review for Tomorrow Unveiled. It truly helps us reach new listeners and keeps the lights on.
And we love hearing your thoughts. Whether you're on YouTube or your favorite podcast app, leave a comment and let us know what you think about replacing your smartphone with smart glasses. Is it a dream come true or a privacy nightmare? Let us know.
We do read the comments, and they often spark the best debates.
Absolutely. Okay, moving on to segment 3. We've covered the eyes, we've covered the hands. Now let's talk about the body, specifically, the robotic body, the soft robotics breakthrough.
This is a really significant scientific milestone that happened right here in February 2026. It was just published in Science Advances by a collaborative team from SMART, NUS, and MIT, a real powerhouse group.
Before we get into the breakthrough itself, we should probably define soft robotics, because when I think of robots, I think of C-3PO or, the giant manufacturing arms in a car factory.
Right.
Rigid, metal, heavy,
Yeah.
and frankly, dangerous.
And that's traditional robotics. It's rigid, it's incredibly precise, but it is also completely unforgiving. If a metal arm swings and hits you, it hurts. It breaks bones.
Yeah.
Soft robotics is different. It's made of flexible materials, silicone, rubber, polymers. Think of an octopus tentacle or an elephant's trunk.
Okay, so that sounds friendlier, it sounds safer. But if it's so great, why haven't they taken over yet? Why are all our robots still made of metal?
Control. It is notoriously hard to control something that is squishy.
Why is that?
Well, think about a metal arm. It has a joint, an elbow, a wrist. The computer knows exactly where those points are. It's simple geometry.
Fixed points.
Fixed points. But a soft silicone arm, it has infinite degrees of freedom. It can bend anywhere. It can twist, stretch, compress. Traditional code really struggles to predict how a squishy arm will move.
It's unpredictable.
It's mathematical chaos. If you push on a piece of silicone, it deforms in these complex ways that are just incredibly hard to model.
So the hardware was there. I mean, we have silicone, but the brain was missing.
Exactly. Until now. This new breakthrough is a neuron-inspired solution. The research team developed a control system that mimics the human brain's ability to learn and adapt to that squishiness.
How so? Give me an analogy for that.
So they use an analogy of two different types of synapses in the brain. First, you have structural synapses.
Okay.
This is the base knowledge. Think of it like learning to walk on a flat floor. You know the basic mechanics of putting one foot in front of the other. You know how your legs work.
Okay, so basic motor skills. The pre-programming.
Right. But then you have plastic synapses, and this is the real-time adaptation. This is what happens when you are walking and you suddenly step on a patch of ice.
Right, you adjust instantly.
Or you pick up a heavy bag, or you twist your ankle slightly. You don't have to stop and relearn how to walk from scratch. Your brain instantly adjusts your balance and muscle tension to compensate.
So the robot has the base code for a movement, but then this plastic layer lets it improvise.
Precisely. It allows the robot to learn a motion once and then adapt to changes without ever needing to be reprogrammed.
What kind of changes?
For example, if the robot arm gets a slight cut and its mechanics change, maybe it's less stiff in one spot now, or if the object it's holding is heavier than expected, the system just adapts on the fly. It feels the difference and corrects itself.
This sounds huge for real-world applications, because the real world is messy. It's not a perfectly controlled factory floor.
No, it's the human-like quality of adaptability, and the killer app here is healthcare and elderly care.
Go on. Why elderly care specifically?
We have an aging population globally. We are facing a massive shortage of caregivers. We need robots to help with things like showering, dressing, or just assisting with movement.
Right.
But you do not want a rigid metal arm helping your grandmother into the shower. If it malfunctions, it acts like a hydraulic press.
That is a terrifying thought.
It is, but a soft robot is safe. If it hits you, it just bounces off. It's silicone, it yields.
And now it's smart.
And with this new AI brain, it can be gentle and adaptive. It can understand that it's holding a fragile human arm, not a steel pipe. If the person resists or moves unexpectedly, the robot adapts rather than trying to force the motion.
It's incredible to think about. We usually associate AI with cold, hard logic, but here, AI is enabling softness. It's enabling a gentle touch.
It's the physical manifestation of AI, and it brings robots closer to human adaptability than ever before. It's a huge step toward robots that can actually live in our homes, not just our factories.
So we have glasses that see for us, wristbands that act for us, and soft robots that can care for us. It really sounds like a complete ecosystem.
It is.
But there is always a regulator in the room. And usually, regulators move at the speed of, well, government.
Slow.
Very slowly. But something changed in January. And that brings us to segment 4, the health ecosystem and the FDA pivot.
This is the regulatory unlock that is fueling so much of this growth. In January 2026, so just last month, the FDA released new guidance regarding general wellness devices.
And for those who don't follow regulatory news closely, which I assume is most of our listeners, why is this such a big deal?
Historically, there was a very hard line. If a device claimed to measure something serious like blood pressure or glucose, it was a medical device.
Right.
And that meant years of clinical trials, massive costs, and incredibly strict regulation. It's why the Apple Watch took so long to get its ECG and heart features approved.
Which protects consumers, sure, but it also slows down innovation to a crawl.
Correct. The new guidance creates a much wider lane for wellness. It says that wearables can now track medical-grade metrics like blood pressure and glucose for wellness purposes without being regulated as strict medical devices.
As long as...
As long as they don't claim to diagnose a disease.
That sounds like a very subtle distinction.
Mm.
I'm not diagnosing you with hypertension. I'm just telling you your blood pressure is really, really high.
It is subtle, but legally, it's a massive difference. It shifts the liability. It means companies like Garmin, Dexcom, and Abbott can push new features to consumers much, much faster.
Or they can say, here's your data, use it to be healthier.
Rather than, here's your diagnosis, take this to a doctor. And the market loved it. The tech stocks in this sector just surged after the announcement.
And this brings us to the rise of smart rings. We saw Dream AI Wearables debut a whole lineup at CES 2026. Why rings? Why not just stick with the watch?
The smart ring form factor is really maturing. Dream launched the AI Haptic ring, the AI ECG ring, and the AI NFC ring. The ring is interesting because of the form factor. It's smaller, less obtrusive, but also because of the location, the finger.
I want to talk about that haptic ring.
Yeah.
Because we talked about vibe coding earlier with the wristbands. What's different here?
Yes. The fingertip haptic feedback is fascinating. Think about where your nerves are concentrated. Your fingertips are incredibly sensitive.
Right.
You can read Braille with your fingertips. You can't read Braille with your wrist.
That's a great point. I never thought about that. My wrist is kind of numb compared to my finger.
Exactly. So instead of a generic buzz on your wrist, which can be easily missed or ignored, the ring gives precise vibrations on your finger. It allows for a much more nuanced communication.
Like a language.
A language of touch. A sharp buzz might mean high stress. A gentle rolling pulse might mean message from mom. A double tap might mean turn left.
And this links directly into the generative AI in health. It's not just showing you a graph anymore. It's talking to you via these buzzes and through text.
No. The old way was, here is a graph of your heart rate. Good luck figuring out what it means. The new way, powered by Gen AI, is a proactive health companion.
Give us an example of how this would play out in a typical day.
Okay, so the device analyzes your sleep, your stress via skin conductance, your metabolic trends, and it looks at your calendar.
All of it.
It doesn't just say heart rate is 100. It says, you didn't sleep well last night, your stress levels are spiking, and I see you have a big presentation in an hour. You are trending toward exhaustion. You should take a rest day. I've already drafted an email to reschedule your afternoon meeting.
Wow. It's actively managing your energy. It's like a really, really pushy executive assistant for your body.
It's interpreting the data and offering actionable advice. It's a coach, not just a scoreboard.
But doesn't that create a new kind of anxiety? I feel like if my ring told me I was about to crash, I'd stress out about crashing, which would probably make me crash faster.
That is the nocebo effect, and it's a very real concern. If the device tells you you're sick, do you start to feel sick?
Right.
But the companies, of course, argue that knowledge is power.
And there is a middle ground emerging too, right? Between general wellness and full medical device.
Yes. Companies like Shura are pushing very hard for a digital health screener pathway. This would be a middle ground regulatory category.
What would that do?
It would allow devices to screen for conditions like flagging potential sleep apnea or atrial fibrillation without being full diagnostic tools. It's about catching things early and telling the user, hey, you should probably go see a doctor about this.
It seems like a logical next step. If the sensors are this good, let them help us. But, and there's always a but when we talk about this stuff, all this data collection leads us to the dark side of the moon.
The inevitable privacy discussion.
Segment 5. The privacy paradox and social etiquette.
The privacy paradox. It's a term that keeps coming up again and again in the 2026 surveys our research team analyzed.
What are the numbers telling us?
Well, 74% of Americans say they are concerned about data privacy. They are worried about who sees their health data, their location, their private conversations.
That number is high.
It's very high. And yet, the adoption of wearables is skyrocketing. We are buying them faster than ever before.
So we say we care, but our wallets say we don't. Or is it more that we just feel hopeless?
It's likely a mix of resignation and calculation. We feel the trade-off is worth it. I give you my data, you give me superpowers.
That's the deal.
That's the deal. And interestingly, there is a clear generational divide. Older adults, 65 plus, are significantly more concerned, that full 74% compared to younger adults at only 47%.
So the younger generation has just grown up in the glass house. They are more accustomed to the trade-off. They just assume they're being tracked.
They assume it, but the creep factor with smart glasses is specific. It's not just about my data, it's about your data. If I'm wearing smart glasses, I'm potentially recording you.
Exactly. The fears are very specific. Whispered notes. The ability of AI to transcribe a conversation from across the room using beamforming microphones.
Yeah, or GPS tracking, building these incredibly detailed lifestyle profiles, knowing exactly where you go, who you meet, how long you stay.
And the legal landscape is trying to catch up. I've been hearing about these CP lawsuits.
Yes, the California Invasion of Privacy Act, or CIPA. We're seeing a rise in litigation targeting chatbots and tracking tech under these old wiretapping laws.
What's the argument?
The argument is the AI listening to the conversation considered a third-party wiretap. It's a legal gray area that is being fought over in court right now.
And then there's the LED war.
Right. Most smart glasses have a little LED light that turns on when the camera's recording. It's supposed to notify people around you, hey, I'm filming.
But people just put a piece of tape over them.
They tape over them, or they use a Sharpie, or hackers figure out how to disable them in the software. So now you have venues, clubs, theaters using infrared cameras to scan the crowd to see if your camera is secretly active.
It's an arms race.
It's a technological arms race over privacy.
We remember the term glass hole from a decade ago. Is glass hole 2.0 a thing?
It is the social etiquette discussion of 2026. How does society adapt to an environment where everyone might be recording or live translating a conversation at any moment?
The trust issue is huge. If I'm talking to you and you're wearing sunglasses, are you actually listening to me? Or are you reading a teleprompter? Are you recording this conversation for your AI memory to search later?
Hey, AI, what did he say about his mother again?
Exactly. It introduces this layer of ambiguity to every human interaction. It removes the very concept of off the record. If everyone has perfect recall via their glasses, you can never deny what you said.
It's all on the record all the time.
We are trading privacy for superpowers. Memory aids, real-time translation, health monitoring. Is the trade worth it?
That is the question every individual has to answer for themselves. But as a society, we seem to be voting yes by buying the devices. We value the convenience over the privacy.
It's a heavy question. Let's try to wrap this up and look at the big picture.
If we summarize what we've discussed today, we have the vision. That's the glasses. We have the control, which is the neural bands. We have the physical interaction, the soft robotics. And we have the regulatory green light from the FDA.
It's a complete convergence. It's not one thing happening. It's everything happening all at once.
It is. We are entering the era of the augmented human. The technology is no longer a tool we pick up. It is a layer we exist within. We are strapped in to a digital nervous system that parallels our own biological one.
And that brings us to the end of this episode of Tomorrow Unveiled. But before we go, one last request. If you're listening on a podcast service like Apple Podcasts or Spotify, we'd be incredibly grateful if you could leave us a rating and a review for Tomorrow Unveiled. It truly helps us reach new listeners.
And it helps us know what topics you want us to unpack next.
Exactly. Now here is a final provocative thought for you to chew on as you take off your headphones. Or maybe as you take off your smart glasses.
As we strap into these neural interfaces and let AI manage our health and our communications, at what point does the wearable stop being an accessory and start becoming the decision maker?
Right. If the device filters what you see via the HUD, hiding a bad Yelp rating or highlighting a person's name, and interprets what you say via the neural band, who is really in control of the interaction? You or the algorithm.
That's something to think about.
Thanks for joining us on Tomorrow Unveiled. We'll see you in the future.
Goodbye.